Hi, this is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a TI is. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. The topic I'm going to talk to you today about is the Real Housewives of Dubai. The Real Housewives of Dubai, season 1, episode 6, uh, 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 came on this past Wednesday. And I think the title of it was Dinner on the Rocks. Dinner on the Rocks was the title of it. It started off with Brooks, Aydan, and Brooks' son Adam going furniture shopping because she said she wanted to do a little furniture shopping because she was redecorating her house, and she wanted to add some new pieces. And Aiden was telling her her house already looked nice and pretty, and she was saying, "No, I just wanted to add another little touch of flair, She said, "This would be nice in your house." She said, "No, she said, "No, this color is all right, but I still want to look at some white color furniture too." And so she was saying, "Okay." And then she said, "I'm really gonna buy stuff according to what you like." She was telling her son Adam that. And then her son Adam was over there to the side looking at furniture, and then they decided to sit down. And she was telling her about Aiden was telling her about what happened at Stansbury House, and how she thought the you know the thing was going okay. And then the next thing you know, she was saying, "Where's my son? Where's my son?" And then she said, "Let's call out his name," and then switch to the next scene. The next scene was with Stansbury. Stansbury escorting her mama and her daddy and some other family members to the Raffles Hotel. She says she's an ambassador for the Raffles Hotel, so her parents probably got a free room and board or whatever. And so she said she had a suite on the other side, and then her father told her, "Ooh, this is real nice." She said, "Oh yeah, it is real nice." He said, "You could have did a little bit better." She said, "Nah, this is good. This is good." And so she let him get settled in to their apartment to apartment thing. And then when she went to her suite, her and Sergio, she was saying that she used to have a kind of bad relationship with her mother, but her and her mother's relationship has gotten better over the years. And she was saying about her being in boarding school from age 6 to 18, she only saw her parents like once out of a year. And so she was saying that Sergio was more family oriented, and then Sergio was saying, "Well, yeah, your mom and dad are good, and your family." She said, "Well, I can only meet one family member at a time. Right now, we're doing our family members." And he said, "Well, are you ready? We can get it going." And then she said, "No, my family is here. They would hear everything." He said, "They in the next room. They won't hear nothing." And then that's what she said in her confessional, Stansbury, that she has to realize that Sergio is very young, and Sergio is very young and has lots of energy, and he likes to have lots of is. And so she said, but she didn't want to do it right then because she was tired. And then it switched to the next scene. Where Lisa was having lunch with Nina and at her apartment building, and they got to talking. And so Lisa was telling Nina that she didn't like what Stansbury told her at the party. What Stansbury told her at the party, and told her that she told her that she was a married woman, and that was inappropriate. And Nina said that she didn't like that either, and she didn't know why Stansbury said that either. Maybe Stansbury was drunk or something. She said, "No," she said, that was very inappropriate for her telling her to do that to her husband, and she was already married, and she didn't like that and stuff like that. And she said she was going to talk to her about it. And then it switched to the next scene, and the next scene was with Sarah and Aydan. and but before that, they showed Aydan trying to cook some lunch for her son, and she said, "You like this?" He said, "It's all right." And then it switched to that scene where Aydan was going to Sarah's event. Sarah was supposed to be a guest speaker at the Global Citizen Awards, and so while she was getting ready, she was in a makeup room and a glam team, which was the makeup artist and the stylist, was getting ready, and she told him that she had invited a guest, and the guest was going to be coming, and could they do her makeup and stuff too, and so they did. So Aydan showed up. So Aiden showed up in her long, like gold, like gown with her husband and stuff like that. And so what happened? Aiden was talking to her, and Aiden was saying that she had talked to her doctor and her therapist, and her therapist was telling her that if she dream big and think big, she won't go back into the past and thinking about the stuff that her dad did to her. And she got to crying and said that was so hard before her. And then Sarah told her, she said, well, yeah, that therapy session is good too, but you need to have another therapy session, so you can address the issues that you had with Standbury. And she said, yeah, she says, I didn't really have no issues with Standbury. Standbury was the one who had the issues with me and stuff like that. And she was saying, well, Aydan, you need to be a little bit more kind, a little bit more loving. And Aydan said, well, that's why I'm going to therapy, because I'm trying to work on myself. She said, but I'm already kind, so you don't have to tell me about being kind. And then in her confessional, Aydan said that she's tired of Sarah doing all this preachy stuff, and that is kind of offset. I mean, we know that you are or we know that you are a counselor and a therapist and a motivational speaker and stuff like that. So you don't have to keep throwing your weight around, throwing at yourself. And then so it switched back to the scene where Aiden and her husband walking in, and then they sat down, and then Sarah said a little speech. And then let me pause this. I need some water. And then it switched to the next scene where Brooks were having a pool party, and she introduced her friends from, I guess they're from the United States or whatever, but she introduced her friends. They were Brian and Adam, and then some of the ladies started coming in. I think first it was either Sara or Nina, and then after that came Lesa, and then Aydan, and then she introduced all her friends to them, and then Stansbury and Sergio also came to the pool party, and so they were all around talking, and they was reading about everybody, and she was saying that Brian and Adam were kind of scared to come to Dubai because some of the rules that they have about gay people and homosexual people and stuff. And then that's when Aydan said in her confessional, "Oh, I got a whole lot of gay friends too." And I was saying, "Yeah, I don't know why some people say that. When other people say that, they always say they got friends like that too." But anyway, back to the scene. And so they was splashing around and talking around. And then so that's when Brooks said, "Let's take some pictures. Let's take some pictures." And Caroline Stansbury said, "Well, I don't want to take no pictures." He said, "Come on, let's take some pictures." So some of the girls took some pictures and stuff. And then so that's when Brooks said, well, come on, Sergio." And then that's when Stansbury said, "Nah, I'm gonna loan you, Sergio." She said, "Yes, Sergio. When I see you, I want you in the pool. I want you in the pool, swimming around and swimming around and floating on the duck. I want to see you. I want to see you do that. Take us pictures." And he said, "Okay." Stanbury said, "Like I said, I'm loaning you my husband, loaning you my husband." And so what happened? They kept on talking, and then Sarah told Brooks in the rest of the group that she been going through a whole lot of stuff because I think she said it's her mom and it's her dad. She said her dad was sick, and her dad had COVID, and her dad is way in another country, and she's way in another country, so she didn't get to see her dad like she wanted to. And so and they was saying, "Oh," when they was all hugging around, they was all sad. And then what happened? Nina walked over there, and then Aydan and Lesa followed her, and then Aydan told Nina that she didn't think that she was gonna that she didn't think that she took up for her and had her feelings with Stansbury, didn't invite her to a wedding. And she said, and she said, I did take up for you. She said, I did say some things to Stansbury, but I didn't think that was right for you coming to the wedding. And then her confessional, Nina said she can't always take Aydan's feelings into consideration. And then she said, well, and then she told Aydan, she said, Aydan, I'm going through something too. I'm going through something too. My dad is sick and stuff. I got a whole lot going on. I could be doing that. She started crying, and then Lesa came over there and hugged her, and then Aydan came over there and hugged her. Aydan came over there and hugged her and stuff, and then it switched back to everybody in the group. And then Brooks asked, she said, should I she said, I'm thinking about sending my child to boarding school. You think I should send my child to boarding school? She was asking each and everybody. And then Stansbury interjected to say, no, boarding school wouldn't be good for him. I had a bad experience at boarding school. She said, that's why I was asking everybody what it's going to be. She said, because I want my son to have a better education I had. She said, but boarding school is not the way. Boarding school is not the way. That's what Stansbury said. And then Stansbury said in her confessional, people with new money don't know anything about boarding school and stuff and what's going on and stuff like that. And then so it switched back to the scene, and then so Lesa had Aydan had told Lesa that she had talked to Sara at the global citizen thing, and she was saying that Sara was talking about she needed to be more kind and more loving, and she said she was tired of Sara preaching, or she was preaching, and Lesa said, yeah, why she tell you that? And then Lesa was and then Aydan was saying that somebody said that she looked like Big Bird, and she wanted to look up the Big Bird. She said, "Ooh, I look nothing like that. I'm gorgeous. I'm glamorous." And then hold up a minute. And then it switched to the next scene where Brooks was getting ready to have a dinner party, and she said she had invited Sara over because she wanted Sara to meet her friends since Sara wasn't able to come to the pool party. And so she was telling the housekeeper that she wanted to have like a vegan setup too, because she was saying Sara don't eat meat and stuff like that. So she had Brian and Adam there at the table talking, and then Sara came in and they got ready to sit. Excuse me. They got ready to sit down and eat, and then her son came down to eat with them. And while he was eating, Brooks was telling him, you don't eat like that. You don't eat like that. You cut the meat with that knife, and you put the knife and the fork like this and stuff like that. And then she said, did you eat all your vegetables? And he said, yeah, I ate them. Are you sure? She said, yeah, I'm gonna eat them. She said, okay. She said, go on upstairs. And she told the housekeeper, said, go upstairs and put him to bed. And then Sara interjected and said, well, why come you can't put him to bed? She said, well, it's no problem for the maid putting him to bed. She said, you should put him to bed. She said, you should put him to bed. You the mother. That's all right. That's all right. That's fine. And then so she said, well, and then so she said, you need to be a little, she said, you need to, she said, well, Sara, I want to ask you the question, since she was not at the party. Do you think I should send Adam, do you think I should send Adam to boarding school? And she say, well, to me, boarding school is for people who want to get rid of their children. What she say that for, baby? Brooks went off and said, no, she was just trying to give her kid a better education than she had, and everything that's in that house she worked for very hard from the ground up and stuff like that. And she told Adam and Brian, y'all know what I went through to get this, but y'all know what I went. He said, yeah, he said, yeah, I do. He said, yeah, I do know that. He said, but that's being very disrespectful to your guest, to Sara. And she told Brian to shut up and stuff like that, and that's her house, and he disrespected her. He said, but now you disrespected what you call. And then Sara chimed in and said, well, would you ask my opinion, Brooks? And I just gave you my opinion. And she said, well, nah, I am loving to my kid. Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to raise my kid or how to raise my kid. And then Brian got quiet and what you call got quiet. To me, Brooks was downright disrespectful. I hate for people to do that, to ask advice, and then when you give them the advice that they don't want to hear, then they get mad with you and want to try to yell and act a fool like Brooks did. And you could tell those guys were turned off against Brooks, even though they know Brooks, been knowing Brooks since they was teenagers and stuff, and they went to school together. You could tell, and she didn't have no business telling that man to shut up like that. Brooks was all the way in the wrong about that. You don't ask nobody for advice, and then when they give you the opposite advice, you want to hear, you want to get all mad. That's one thing I didn't like about Brooks and stuff like that. I know Brooks is messy, but she can be downright mean when she don't get her way, and I don't like people like that. And then the show ended. This is A. Weston. That ain't even tested like a Ti is. I am out.